So in this training, I'm going to show you the power of the W-4 and why you want to correct this thing starting ASAP. So I will go over the 2018 Form W-4 and provide instructions on how to properly complete this form. The IRS states that millions of taxpayers have this form completed incorrectly, which causes overpayment in income taxes. By properly completing this form, you could potentially realize a 200 to 600 increase in your monthly take-home pay from your job. Disclaimer: my econ does not guarantee you will receive an increase in your paycheck by adjusting your Form W-4. Results will vary based on each individual's unique financial situation. See a qualified tax professional if you are unaware or unsure about your form. So the purpose of this form is to be completed so that your employer can withhold the correct federal income tax from your pay. Very important. Consider completing a new Form W-4 each year and when your personal or your financial situation changes. So you are responsible for accuracy of this form. Your employer uses the information that you provide to determine the amount of taxes withheld from your paycheck. Your W-4 should be updated once per year at a minimum. The IRS releases a new Form W-4 each year. You should update your W-4 each year in case there are any changes. You should update your W-4 anytime your life changes. These include marriages, divorce, births, salary increases, job losses, starting a new business, etc. There are two big reasons why most taxpayers' W-4 is often incorrect. The W-4 is not updated annually. Instructions on how form suggest you complete a new Form W-4 annually. Exemptions are often confused with allowances. Many taxpayers skip over the W-4 questions and enter the number of people in their household, which is their exemptions. However, the W-4 is calculating the number of allowances that you have, which may be different from the number of exemptions that you have. So I would use the Johnson family as an example of how to properly complete the W-4. The information we will need to know before you can properly complete the W-4 is filing status, income, dependents, and age of dependents. The Johnson family are married filing jointly. They have a combined income of $100,000 with the husband earning $45,000 a year and the wife earning $55,000 per year. And they have two dependents, ages 8 and 10. I will now use the family status to determine the Johnson family's personal allowances. So follow along. Here we go. Question A, enter 1 for yourself. So you will enter 1. Question B, enter 1 if you will file as married filing jointly. They are married, so they're going to enter 1. Question C, enter 1 if you will file as head of household. So the Johnson family is not filing head of household status. So let's go and look at the requirements for head of household. Head of household states that generally you can claim head of household filing status on your tax return only if you are unmarried and pay more than 50% of the cost of keeping up a home for yourself and a qualifying individual. See publication 501 for more information about filing status. So there are 6 items you should be aware of in relation to head of household status. You must be unmarried on the last day of the year to claim head of household status for that calendar year. You must have paid more than 50% of home upkeep costs. The qualifying person must have lived with you for more than half the year. If you have a child in college, you can still count them as a qualifying individual, even if they stayed at college instead of at the home. A dependent person who is a qualifying individual does not have to live with you to qualify as head of household status. Paying child support, sad to say, does not qualify you as a head of household status. So, question C is enter one if you will file as head of household. We've seen and determined that the Johnsons are not qualified to file as head of household, so we will enter 0 there. Question D, enter 1 if you are single or married filing separately, have only one job, or you're married filing jointly, have only one job, and your spouse doesn't work, or your wages from a second job or your spouse's wages or the total of both are $1,500 or less. The Johnsons do not meet any of these qualifications, so we will enter 0 on line D. Question E, child tax credit. See publication 972, child tax credit, for more information. If your total income will be less than $69,801, $101,401 if married filing jointly, enter 4 for each eligible child. The Johnsons have an income of $100,000, are married filing jointly. They are qualified to claim 4 for each eligible child. They have 2 eligible children. 2 times 4 equals 8. Enter 8. Question F, credit for other dependents. The Johnson family do not have other dependents, so we will enter 0 for line F. Question G, other credits. The Johnson family do not have other credits, so we will enter 0. So question H is add lines A through G and enter the total here. So we will enter a total of 10 for the Johnson family. So that completes the Form W-4. So now we will go up to where it says here, separate here and give Form W-4 to your employer. Keep the worksheets for your work records. So it says employees withholding allowance certificate. Whether you're entitled to claim a certain number of allowances or exemptions from withholding is subject to review by the IRS. Your employer may be required to send a copy of this form to the IRS. So to complete this, just go ahead, complete blocks 1 with your name, middle initial, last name. Block 2, enter your social, home of address, city, town, state, and zip code. The filing status for them will be married. Block 4, if your last name differs from that shown on your social security card, check here. You must call 800-772-1213 for a replacement card. So you will enter your total number of allowances you're claiming from the applicable worksheet on the following pages. So take what you have on line H and put it here on line 5. So we had 10. So we're going to enter 10 there. And this is going to almost complete the form. So now we just come here, read this. Under penalties of perjury, I declare that I have examined this certificate and to the best of my knowledge and belief, it is true, correct, and complete. It says employee's signature. So you will sign and date here and give this copy, this top portion right here, to your employer. And then you're done.